Let's talk USA Cross Country Championships. It was the one meet that we predicted going into the weekend, Gordon, because it was the main race to watch. Both you and I went over on our picks, by the way, for accountability purposes. I'm going to mention that. We had Wayne Kaladi winning. She got second to Alicia Monson, the women's race, and the men's side of things. We had Hillary Bohr winning, and he
No,
DNS'd, did
yeah.
not start. And Shadrach Kipchirchir got the win on the men's side. Before we go into the big picture on this race, what did you think of Monson's performance on the women's side and Kipchirchir for the men?
Well, for Monson, you got to think back like this was her wheelhouse going up against Kaladi, right? We've seen
Hmm.
Monson for Wisconsin, Kaladi of New Mexico, kind of have a back and forth later on in Monson's career, her senior year, even a little bit of her junior year.
Yeah,
Kaladi eventually got the best of her, at the NCAA championship, but like during the Nutty Comb Invitationals and a few other races, she was able to run, stride for stride with Kaladi, and she did that again this in at the pro stage and became victorious. Was able to pull away kind of late in the race. Wasn't really close near the end, and
hmm,
it kind of shows like, hey, Alicia Monson coming off of her making her first world team, I guess Olympic team,
yeah,
back over in the summer. She kind of had a wild 10K there, right? She had dealt with the heat exhaustion,
hmm,
but she's starting off 2022 in great form, beating a good Wendy Kaladi.
yeah,
Like we believe Wendy Kaladi is the future of women's distance road racing and basically all these non-track events. But also, I think
yeah.
Kaladi is a favorite to be top three in the 10K. And so for Monson to beat her straight up here in January is a good sign. It shows that she's not going to be a one hit wonder. She should be here
Hmm.
to stay going into this year and should be a main contender for top three in the 10K come in Eugene in June.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same thing. I had flashbacks back to 2019 cross when we were prepping for that broadcast, and we had the whole history of Kaladi versus Monson, indoor, outdoor, cross country. They had so many close races, and it was so even going back to Milrose indoors that year. So some professional type fields that they were racing in. It was always Monson and Kaladi. And we thought we were going to see it again in 2020. And then COVID happened. Monson left, Kaladi left, and it's cool to see it reignited on the professional side of things. And Dathan Ritzenhein and that group, they are on a bit of a roll here. He seems to be pushing all the right buttons. Monson, obviously a big talent, but yeah, you spoke to how good Kaladi has been. So any win over her, I think, is a significant victory. Looks like Monson is going to be here to stay, I think, and it would be fun to see that rivalry carry over into the professional side of things.
Yeah. And 17-second win. It wasn't even close near the end. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously
she meant
this
went
isn't like,
midway.
yeah. At the end of the day, it's not like Wayne Kaladi gets anything more for finishing 10 seconds back versus 17 seconds back. And you look
Mhm.
at the results of the top 10 or so women. Enfeld with a good third place finish, I would say. First race as a non Bowerman athlete. Durgan, who's
Mhm.
kind of a low key, sneaky good runner for Adidas. Stephanie Bruce, who actually recently just announced that this is her last year as a pro. She's
Mhm.
retiring at the end of the year. So starting off her retirement season well with the top
Yeah.
five finish, and then Natasha Rogers rounds out the top six. Molly Seidel finishing eighth. That to me is like a sign of you know this isn't my priority because you would think the third place Olympian in the marathon would do better than eighth at a USA cross country race. Um,
Mhm.
so I think she's clearly better than that, and I think she's showing that one her main event is definitely going to be longer than shorter distances, aka the marathon. But I think you know it's kind of
Mhm.
it's weird when we see athletes who we know are better than eighth get eighth, and you kind of like, all right, so what? why is someone of Molly's caliber getting eighth in a race? And if this was the Olympic trials, she probably wouldn't be getting eighth, right? She'd probably be
Mhm.
finishing closer to top four, top five. And then it makes you think, how important is this race to these pros? Is it a glorified practice? Is it a glorified, yeah, we're here to try hard, and if things go well, we'll celebrate the win. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, having a bad race here is not that big of a deal, you know? And I think that's an issue with our sport, kind of, right? Where not all races are treated like they matter. Now, there are going to be people who do care, right? I'm not saying all these athletes are showing up being like, whatever, USA cross. But you got to look at it.
Mhm.
The field was only like 30 or 50 women. Of
Mhm.
that field, probably only 10 were like national caliber talented athletes. It's kind of like just it's not the same as an Olympic trials or the same as the USA's. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think our sport would be better if more races were treated like they were Olympic trials, like they were USA's, because that's when you know you're getting the best out of everyone. And we're just, I don't know, seeing the results of the race, I was kind of like, I think the athletes weren't treating it the way the fans and even the meet organizers were hoping it would be treated. And it's not the athlete's fault because their contracts are told don't treat January races like they're all out for
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
treat January
Yeah.
races like Super Bowls. Treat
It
two
has
races like a Super Bowl, USA's and Worlds.
it has a prestigious title, USA Cross Country Championships, but it could be just named Cross Country Meet Number 1,
Yeah.
and it's
USA
just an
TF
opportunity to
invite.
run.
Yeah.
It's just an
Yeah.
opportunity to run, put on the uniform, compete against other people. I think Molly Seidel captured the sentiment perfectly, and I give her credit for going out there and racing because she says in her Instagram post, "Often we think we can't race until everything is perfect because of what people will say or think if we underperform." I say F it and just go have fun, even if you know the fitness isn't there yet, and you get your ass, is it kicked? I don't know. We need to scroll down a little bit there. Unfortunately, we cut off at the exact wrong time there on the screen. So I think she, I think she nails it here. I think she nails it here. And like I said, I give her credit for racing. Now, she's a marathoner, so her schedule is going to be completely different as is, right? She needs to
Yeah.
be in form 2, maybe 3 times per year. So I give her credit for going out there and racing, and I think she explains a lot of why people don't go out and race. Because if you wait until everything's perfect, you're rarely going to race. And then if you do race and something goes wrong on that one day, then your opportunities are gone. So I give credit to the people who just go out there and continue to do it. And if it's eighth, if it's 10th, if it's 20th, if it's first, then we get to at least see you, know you're out there training, know that you're still putting in the miles and someone to keep an eye on. Because the alternative is you just hide away, run 2 or 3 times a year in perfect conditions, and then that's not much fun in terms of from a fan's perspective following the sport.